My name is Latoya Brown. I'm 34 years old, and by noon that day, I never thought I'd be the woman writing one of these stories. I'm usually the one reading them at 2 in the morning between shifts, thinking some families are wild. Then my family decided to prove they could compete for first place. I'm an FBI agent, which mostly means I'm always tired, always alert, and always on call. I answer unknown numbers without hesitation. Silence bothers me more than danger ever has. A few things you should know about me so you understand who I am before everything cracked open. I drink black coffee like it's a personality trait. I chew nicotine gum like it's my job. And I tap my badge case 3 times before leaving the house. Not for luck, just because my brain decided the universe would punish me if I didn't. My routine is rigid. Shower, suit-y, gun belt, keys in the exact same bowl, phone charge, wallet, same playlist, volume low. I check the front door lock twice, then once more, because the first 2 don't feel right. I've been the responsible one for so long that I didn't even notice how deep it went. Not until the night my younger brother grabbed my laptop in front of everyone. It was Sunday dinner at my parents' house. The kind where the food is fine, the vibes are not, and someone always says something that poisons the whole evening. I showed up straight from the office, still had my tie on, my holster dug into my side. I brought a store-bought pie because I didn't have time to pretend I'd baked something. Mom saw me first and put on that overly bright voice she uses when she's about to ask for a favor. Latoya, finally, you look thin. Are you even eating? I'm eating, I said, mostly gas station stuff. Dad was already at the table watching the game on mute like it was religion. He gave me a nod. That was his version of affection. My older sister Amber was there too, scrolling on her phone, half listening. Her husband wasn't. She didn't have one anymore. That matters later. And then there was Tyler. Tyler is the kind of guy who thinks being loud counts as being right. The kind who touches your things without asking, then acts offended when you don't find it charming. Dinner started. Normalish. Mom complained about her car. Amber complained about her mortgage. Dad complained about his insurance, like the insurance company personally hated him. Tyler waited until we were all seated. So, he said, leaning back like he was hosting a podcast. Still too important to answer texts, Latoya? I stared at my plate. I'm working, Tyler. You're always working, he smirked. Or you're always saying, you're working. Mom jumped in fast. Now, Tyler, your sister has a very stressful job. Dad didn't look up. Work is work. Tyler tapped his fork against his glass. Yeah, FBI hero stuff. Must pay pretty good. My shoulders tightened. I'd learned the hard way that when Tyler talks about money, it's never because he's proud. Tyler, Mom warned. I'm not starting, he said, grinning. I'm just curious. I should have left then, but I didn't, because I'm trained to stay calm, to de-escalate, to sit in discomfort and keep my face neutral. That's exactly what Tyler counted on. Halfway through dinner, my phone buzzed. Work email. Time sensitive. I didn't want to be up all night dealing with it, so I did what I always do. I opened my laptop at the end of the table. 5 minutes. In and out. Amber glanced over. You brought your laptop to dinner? It'll take 5 minutes, I said. Tyler's eyes lit up like he'd spotted a cookie jar. Oh, he said. Secrets. Tyler, Mom warned again. He stood up. Before I could process it, he yanked the laptop toward him. Don't, I said, reaching for it. He lifted it higher, laughing. Relax, I'm not hacking the FBI. Give it back. Mom did that weak half laugh. Tyler, stop. You're acting like a child. He clicked around anyway. And then his face changed. Not confused, not curious, greedy. Hold it, he said loudly. Everyone look at this. My chair scraped as I stood. Tyler, stop. Too late. He turned the screen toward the table. Latoya makes $340,000 a year and never helps the family. The room went dead silent. My stomach dropped slowly, painfully, because I knew exactly what he was looking at. Dad finally looked up from the TV. He stared at me like I'd slapped him. You've been holding out on us. Not, is that true? Not what's going on. Just that. Everyone stared at me like I'd just been unmasked as the villain. I gently closed the laptop, took it from Tyler's hands like I was disarming a weapon. Then I smiled. Not a happy smile. The kind you give when you finally understand what game you're in. You're right, I said. And in that moment, something inside me went very, very still. I left my parents' house that night without another word. No dramatic exit, no slammed door. Just my keys in my hand, my jaw clenched, and my father's words echoing in my head like a verdict. You've been holding out on us. I drove home in silence. No music, no podcast, just the hum of the road and my hands locked on the steering wheel, replaying the dinner like body cam footage. Tyler's voice. That number. The way Amber's face shifted from confusion to offense. The way Mom's eyes went watery. Not from gratitude, but from injury, like I'd wronged her. I slept terribly, not from guilt, from clarity. Because somewhere between the accusation and my quiet, "You're right," something finally clicked into place. I wasn't a daughter in that room. I was a resource. And resources don't get the benefit of the doubt. Here's the part that makes me sound stupid. I wasn't holding out. I was holding everything up. I grew up in a house where love came with invoices. My father, Frank, is the kind of man who believes feelings are weakness. He doesn't hug. He doesn't apologize. He doesn't ask how you're doing. He asks whether you're handling your responsibilities. That's his version of care. My mother, Linda, is softer, but sharper. She never asks for money directly. She tells stories, long ones, about stress, about worry, about how she doesn't know what she's going to do. She cries when she loses control. And she always loses control right before someone offers to help. Amber is my older sister by 2 years. She's not cruel. She's just used to being rescued. She married a man who made promises, bought a house they couldn't afford, and then walked out when things got hard. When she cries, she sounds like she did when we were kids. And every time, it hooks me. Tyler is the youngest. Tyler is chaos. Tyler never learned the word no because Mom always translated his failures into excuses. Tyler crashed his first car. The mechanic scammed him. Tyler lost his job. People were jealous of his potential. Tyler missed rent. Landlords are heartless. And me? I learned early that nobody was coming to save me. So I saved myself. I worked my way through school. I earned my badge. I moved out. I built a life with structure because somewhere along the way, I needed structure to survive. And without anyone ever saying it out loud, I became the family's backup plan. It started small. My first year on the job, Mom called crying because her car was making a noise. I didn't have time to drive over. "Just take it to a shop," I said. "I'll cover it." $140. Then Dad had a health scare. Not life-threatening, just expensive enough to scare him. He called late at night. His voice was quieter than usual. "I hate asking," he said. That was new. That got me. One bill, then another. After Amber's divorce, her mortgage started slipping. She didn't call me. She called Mom. Mom called me. "Your sister is trying so hard," she said. "She's doing everything right, but the bank doesn't care." I stared at my apartment wall, jaw tight. "How much?" I asked. Mom had the number ready. 1 month, then another. Then it became automatic. And here's the real problem. I never told anyone. Not because I was hiding money. Because once people know you're helping, they stop saying thank you and start saying you can do more. I never told Tyler anything. Tyler turns information into leverage. So I stayed quiet. 1 bill here, 1 repair there. But my job is relentless. I don't have time to spend hours on the phone with billing departments, so I made it efficient, controlled, silent. Mom's car lease, auto pay. Dad's medical bills, auto pay. Amber's mortgage, auto pay. Not because I'm rich, because I'm tired. Every time I tried to pull back, the pressure came down hard. Mom, I don't know what we're going to do. Dad, family helps family. Amber, I hate asking you, LaToya, but I don't have anyone else. Tyler never asked. Tyler mocked. He'd show up to dinner with a brand new phone on a payment plan and laugh at me for driving an old, reliable car. "Must be nice being FBI," he said once. "You probably get free stuff." "We don't," I said. He laughed anyway. And that's where the laptop matters. That $340,000 wasn't my salary. My actual paycheck is standard government pay plus overtime. Comfortable, not outrageous. The bigger number came from investments. Boring ones, disciplined ones, years of saying no to upgrades, years of not buying things I could have afforded. I didn't buy a fancy house. I didn't buy a sports car. I paid for my family's life while they told themselves I didn't help because I didn't announce it, because I didn't make a show of it, because I didn't let Mom post about it online. When Tyler opened my laptop and shouted that number, it wasn't an accident. It was him finally finding a reason to call me the villain out loud. And my parents didn't defend me. They didn't ask what I'd already been paying. They didn't wonder why the bills were always handled. They saw a number and decided I owed them more. That realization followed me home, followed me into bed, followed me into the early morning hours when the house was quiet and my thoughts were loud. At 5:12 a.m., I made coffee. And for the first time in years, I asked myself a question I'd been avoiding. What happens if I stop? And for the first time, the answer didn't scare me. It felt clean. At 5:12 a.m., the apartment was silent. Not peaceful, just empty. The kind of quiet where you can hear your own thoughts too clearly. I stood in my kitchen, barefoot, coffee mug warming my hands, laptop open on the counter. No suit, no badge, no armor. Just me and the reality I'd been postponing for years. I stared at my reflection in the dark screen for a moment and thought, if I keep paying, this never ends. Not if I can afford it, not if they need it. If I keep paying. So I stopped. I didn't slam anything, didn't cry, didn't hesitate. I logged into my bank app the same way I log into case files. Calm, focused, deliberate. Mom's car lease, autopay, on. I toggled it off. The screen asked, "Are you sure?" I hit confirm. Dad's medical payments, autopay, on, off. Amber's mortgage, the biggest one. The one that always made my stomach knot. Off. Each confirmation felt like setting down a weight I'd been carrying so long I'd forgotten it wasn't part of my body. I didn't feel cruel. I felt precise. By 7:03 a.m., my phone started vibrating like it was trying to crawl off the counter. Mom, Dad, Amber, Tyler. Calls stacked on top of each other. Messages piling up. Missed calls turning into voicemails I didn't listen to. I finished my coffee. Then I texted one sentence in the family group chat. "We'll talk tonight, in person." That's it. Amber messaged me privately, almost immediately. "Please, I'm begging you. I don't know what to do." I stared at the screen longer than I meant to. I almost caved. Then I remembered her face at dinner. Not confused, not concerned, offended, like I'd wronged her by not giving enough. I typed back, "Bring your paperwork. We'll talk like adults." No heart emojis, no reassurance. Just facts. The rest of the day moved strangely fast and painfully slow at the same time. At work, I did my job like I always do. Took statements, reviewed files, followed procedures. Nobody there knew that by noon, my entire family's financial reality had shifted. I didn't tell anyone. This wasn't something that needed witnesses. By 6 p.m., I was standing outside my parents' house again. Different clothes this time. Jeans, a plain jacket, no badge, no gun belt, just my laptop. Mom opened the door with red eyes. "You didn't answer," she said, like an accusation. "I said we'd talk," I replied. Dad sat at the table, arms crossed, jaw tight. Amber stood near the window, hands shaking. Tyler leaned against the counter like he was waiting for a show. "About time," he muttered. I didn't respond. I sat down, opened my laptop, and for the first time, I didn't feel like I was on defense. "You wanted to talk about help," I said calmly. "So let's talk about help." I turned the screen toward them. A spreadsheet filled the display. Rows, dates, amounts, bank confirmations, notes. 3 years' worth. No commentary, no emotion. Just receipts. Mom leaned forward first. "What is that?" she whispered. "That," I said, "is everything I've paid." Amber's breath caught. "That's my mortgage," she said quietly. "Yes," I replied, "every month." Silence fell hard. Dad's face changed. Not angry yet. Calculating. Tyler laughed once, sharp and uncomfortable. "Okay, wow. You didn't have to go all accountant on us." I met his eyes. "You grabbed my laptop and read my finances out loud like I committed a crime," I said evenly. "So now we're being exact." Mom stopped crying. Dad said nothing. Amber sank into a chair like her legs had finally given out. "I'm done being the family's autopay," I continued. "I'm not punishing anyone. I'm correcting something that's been wrong for a long time." Amber looked up at me, panicked. "What am I supposed to do?" I didn't raise my voice. "Pay your bills." Mom's voice cracked. "But we're your family." I nodded. "And family doesn't accuse you of holding out while you're quietly keeping them afloat." Dad finally spoke. "You're overreacting. This was one misunderstanding." I shook my head. "No, this was the truth showing itself." Tyler scoffed. "Wow, so you're just cutting us off." I turned to him slowly. "You invaded my privacy. You humiliated me. You wanted a mob. You got one. You just didn't like the outcome." The room stayed quiet. I closed my laptop. "Here are the rules," I said. "No more automatic payments. No more rescues without discussion. Real emergencies only. Asked respectfully. Paid directly." Mom opened her mouth. "And no one touches my things again," I added. Dad stared at the table. "I'm not controlling you," I finished. "I'm controlling myself." Nobody argued. Because for the first time, there was nothing left to take. The silence after I laid down the rules wasn't calm. It was stunned. The kind of quiet that happens when people realize the floor they've been standing on isn't solid anymore, and never was. Mom was the first to break it. "So, that's it?" she asked, voice thin. "You're just done?" I didn't answer right away. I looked at her, really looked. the trembling hands, the careful posture, the way her eyes kept flicking to the laptop like it might bite her. "I'm done being invisible," I said finally. "I'm done being blamed for not doing enough when I've been doing everything." Dad leaned back in his chair, arms crossed tighter than before. "You think this makes you righteous?" he said, throwing numbers in our faces. I met his gaze, calm, measured. "You didn't ask for numbers when Tyler accused me," I said. "You didn't ask what I'd already been paying. You went straight to judgment." His jaw flexed. "That's because families don't keep score." I nodded slowly. Then maybe families shouldn't accuse someone of holding out either. Amber wiped her face with the sleeve of her sweater. She looked smaller than I'd ever seen her. "I didn't know," she said quietly. "Mom never told me you were paying the mortgage." I believed her. That hurt in a different way. "You didn't know," I agreed. "But you also didn't ask. You just assumed I wasn't helping, because that fit better." Her eyes filled again. I was scared. "I know," I said, "but fear doesn't give you the right to rewrite reality." Tyler scoffed from the counter. "Oh my God, listen to her," he said. "You sound like you're in court." I turned to him. "You turned my personal finances into a spectacle," I said. "So yes, we're being factual." He shrugged. I was joking. "No," I said calmly. "You were provoking." Mom shot him a look. "Tyler?" "No," I interrupted gently. "Let him finish." He didn't, because for once, there was nothing clever left to say. Dad cleared his throat. "So what happens now?" I didn't hesitate. "Now," I said, "you handle your own lives." Mom's breath hitched. "My car." "You can refinance," I said, "or downsize, or sell it." Amber's voice cracked. "The bank." "You call them," I said. "You cut expenses. You get a roommate. You adjust." She flinched. "I had to," I added quietly. "So can you." Dad's voice hardened. "You think you're better than us now." I shook my head. "No, I think I'm done being smaller so everyone else can feel comfortable." That landed. Tyler laughed again, but this time it sounded hollow. "So you're punishing us because your feelings got hurt." I met his eyes. "No," I said. "I'm stopping because you showed me exactly how you see me." Mom started crying again. Real crying this time. Not performative, not controlled. "You're breaking this family apart," she sobbed. I stood up slowly. "No," I said. "I'm refusing to be broken to keep it together." Dad didn't respond. Amber didn't either. Tyler rolled his eyes, but his foot tapped, nervous. I packed up my laptop. "Here's what happens next," I said. "We take a break. You figure things out. If you want help in the future, we talk first. Respectfully, transparently." Mom whispered, "And if we don't?" I looked at her, steady. "Then nothing changes," I said. "Except I'm no longer drowning." I walked to the door. Nobody stopped me. And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was abandoning my family. I felt like I was choosing myself. The fallout wasn't loud at first. It was quiet, messy, and deeply uncomfortable. Mom called 3 times the next morning. I didn't answer. Dad sent one message, short, clipped, unreadable. Amber left a voicemail that started with breathing and ended with tears. Tyler posted vague things online about fake loyalty and people who forget where they came from. I ignored all of it, not out of spite, out of necessity. For the first time in years, my paycheck stayed where it belonged. My account balances didn't dip automatically. My phone didn't buzz with panic disguised as conversation. And something surprising happened. The world didn't end. Mom figured out the car. She complained to anyone who would listen, but she figured it out. Dad argued with the insurance company instead of me. Amber panicked, then adapted. 2 weeks after that night, she called. Not crying, not blaming, just quiet. "I got a roommate," she said. "It's not ideal, but it works." I closed my eyes and felt something loosen in my chest. "Okay," I said. Then she surprised me. "I'm sorry," she added, "for the way I looked at you, for assuming." That was the first real apology I'd ever heard in that house. Tyler never apologized. He got quieter instead. Stopped showing up to dinners, stopped posting, stopped performing. Without an audience or leverage, he had nothing to work with. And the quieter he got, the more peaceful my life became. Dad called a month later. No anger, no accusations. "What do you want?" he asked. I didn't hesitate. "Respect," I said. "Boundaries. No automatic payments. No comments about my money. Help only when asked, and only when it makes sense." There was a long pause. Then he said, "Fine." Not warm, not loving, but real. And that was enough. Here's the truth no one talks about. Tyler didn't accidentally expose anything. He invaded my privacy to shame me. And when they saw the number, they didn't say thank you. They said I owed them more. I wasn't holding out. I was holding everything up. That's the trap. When you help silently, people think you're not helping. When they discover you could do more, they call your generosity betrayal. At some point, helping family stops being love and starts being erasure. I still love my family, but I don't finance them anymore. And for the first time in my adult life, that love doesn't come with invoices.